Hi, and welcome back. So I want to talk about the Olivetti M24. This one behind me is the very first one from Olivetti. This is the Olivetti M24 with the Intel processor 8086-2. That means this one runs at 8 megahertz. It came out in 1983. But it's not that Olivetti M24 I want to talk about. In 1996, Olivetti also made another Olivetti M24. This one was called, sorry I'm leaning over, this was called the P233. This one has also an Intel inside it. It's a Pentium running at 133 megahertz. But I'm not going to talk about this one. So let me put this to the side and let me show you the Olivetti M24 I want to talk about today. It's this one, also an Olivetti M24 that I want to talk about today. And let me just bring in this one too. As you can see, they kind of like look the same. This one is the Pentium 133. There's no documentation that I can find at all about the one below. And I must assume, as it says P233, that there's a Pentium 233 inside it. You can see that the casing looks the same. This is like the normal size of a casing, and this is called slimline. So I'm assuming somehow the casing are the same. This one has another feature. You can actually put it to the side, or let me take this one away. There we go. So it could actually stand like this on the table. So let's move the camera closer and let's have a look at this Olivetti M24. So if we have a look in the front of this computer, we have the Olivetti label over here. This is now in blue. The other M24, the slimline model, was in yellow. So this is called the M24 XD P233X. We also have an Olivetti logo down here. This is MMX Intel inside Pentium, and we have the, which is, I don't know, laser printed into the cover or something. This is not a sticker, but this is the design for Microsoft Windows NT or 95 logo. Besides that, everything is kind of like the same. It's just higher. Because all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but right now we have 3 bays, 2 5.25 and 1 3.5 inch drive bay down here. It's the same besides that. If we look at this side, we have the handle that will open up on both sides of the casing. And now there are feet and bumps there, which means the computer can stand up. If I look at the other side, we also have locking mechanism to open everything up. Now we come to the back, and this is where it's a little bit sad. It's broken here. I don't have the pieces. They didn't come with the computer itself. I want to explain right now. I bought this on eBay. I usually do not buy anything on eBay. I think I want to do an episode about eBay stuff because it's getting out of hand. It's like completely effed up. Everybody thinks they can get £1,000 for a computer, and it's like crazy. It kind of like needs to stop somehow. But moving all the way back, so it's broken here, and it's also chipped and broken down here. This is the back. In the back, we have the model number for the casing, which is, I know you can't see it, but it's called TIN/22 or II. The other cabinet was called TIN/SL/2. So this is the normal size, the other one was the slimline. We have a blue label or icon for a keyboard, a yellow one for the PS2, and over here we have a green one, or Turkish, whatever you want to call this one, for the VGA monitor. Somehow it seems that there's a VGA up here. I'm not sure why that is. We also have a serial 2 PS2 now and a printer port. We have a possibility for something that could be in here. Usually that tells me that you could have had this special sound card put into this computer. But all in all, it's kind of like the same compared to the M24 P233, even the color scheme. So let me turn it around, push this way, and yeah, there's a little bit of rust coming through inside. There seems to be some kind of stamp, which I think says 1999. 13 GEN or GEL. That must be Italian for some kind of month. Let me figure out what that is. But 13, 1996 or 19, this must be 99. Yeah, I am assuming. So with the casing open, and there's a bag inside. Oh, keys. Very nice. Very rare, like super rare you get keys with your laptop computers, but it goes in here. So that's nice. But besides that, kind of like looks like, again, the same. So there's something over here where the Razer card sits in, and in the other one you had a thingy here. You could move this to the side and you can move all this up. I see something here. So this is most likely the locking mechanism for that. What does it say? It says nothing. No. Yo, close and open. Okay. So I'm assuming I can just lift up here now. I can. There we go. I see more broken stuff. The power key, oh, turn on key is locked. Yeah, it goes to the motherboard. I think what we need to do right now, I need to have the camera arranged so we can have a peek inside it. It looks the same inside. So all of this over here, all of this can be taken out, lifted out. Yes, there we go. So it's now out. I just need to take off all the cables. So there is a hard disk in here. Let me take the hard disk cable out. The red one goes this way. This must be for the floppy. The red one goes over there. And here we have the AT power supply. Goes here. And then I see into the power supply, I see a third power rail, which we'll have a look at. It says P8, a small one with 3 wires, black. This is purple and this is green, I think. I'm not sure what this is for. So with this out, let me arrange the camera and we shall have a look and see what's beneath this one. You all know I have a tiny bit of OCD, so thing needs to be a little bit more clean than usual. So therefore I have already started disassembling the cover before we go to the actual computer inside. As a problem, sorry for this. So just want to explain what has happened briefly. I took this off. This can be a challenge to get off, and when you do this, because it's fragile, the plastic, you need to do this very slowly and ensure that you keep it, you take it out at the same time all over the place. It's a little bit of a fuddle, but it's working. So I took this off, I rinsed this down. This has scarves and masks that I cannot get off, but it is what it is. I will say okay to this. I also took the feet off on this side, because once you take the front plate off, you can take the feet off. It just pushes out here. I removed the rust that was inside. I'm not quite okay with it at the moment. And I also removed some of the rust that was up here. There's more, and it's actually inside these two hinges that closes and opens the computer casing. So what I want to do is I want to take this one off. There's no rust over here, but there's rust in there. So I can just go and try to clean this off with water, but there'll be water inside it, and even though I have a high compressor with air, it's usually better if I take this off. So in order to get this off, you have a bush here, and I just want to say that before you start taking this off, be aware this will go everywhere. What I'm trying to say is when you take one of these off, they tend to fly all over the place. So let me briefly get this off. It's just a bush that usually, remember there's plastic, so be careful you don't do anything. I actually have a thingy that could maybe widen this out. Let me try. Let me come back. Let's see if we can do it with the right tool instead of a screwdriver. So I found the right tool for the job. Let's see if we can do it. It's when you do this, they open up. Usually this should be able to help me get this out without breaking anything, like this. I know you can't see it. But let me just take it out and we can have a look at it. It's again being very careful. There we go. So, because it looks like, I don't know if it's in, you can push in here and then widen. Don't press like crazy, just a tiny bit out and then you can move it up. Let's see if this gives us access to the button. It does. I can take the button out. Yeah, doesn't look good. Seems to be broken, actually. And now I think this should be able to lift this one up. There we go. And this is some of the grease I was smearing it with. It's in there. So let me take this to the side and fix all this and take off the rust. I won't put it to the glass blaster. I can just very carefully take it off. And then I will rinse all this down and come back with all of this clean. Just one thing I was talking about, there was a date stamp in the casing. I have moved closer to it and it's 13 GEN dot and it's 1998. Italian, remember Olivetti is Italian, so GEN, that's January. So this is 13th of January 1998. The stamp on the casing was made. So I'm assuming this is also the date that this computer was produced. So let's move all this out and let me move in the actual computer, because I think we need to figure out how to take all of this, well, all of this is the motherboard. I want to take this out because, yeah, not nice. There are the usual suspects of bus bunnies in there and things are floating around. So let me briefly take everything out. And how should I explain to do this? As I want to wash this down, this needs to be washed. So therefore, obviously, the motherboard with the razor card needs to come out. This plastic over here also needs to come out. The only purpose for this plastic in this computer, let me see if I can turn around. I hope you can see it, everybody. It's when you have cards that are wider, they can be slotted in here, so this stabilizes stuff. You could also incorporate 1 or 2 fans and even an extra loudspeaker if you wanted to have a loudspeaker in your computer. So the way to get this out is as it is with all the other ones. You press down here. I hope this is in the shot. And it comes out like this. There we go. And there's the speaker. So the speaker sits, and again, I know it's not in the shot. The speaker sits in the top, sorry. There we go. That's where the speaker is. And those down there, they are for 2 fans if you needed that. So let's find the speaker cable. It's the white one. in the beginning, and it says SPKR on the motherboard. White was on this side, black on that side over there. So I will take the speaker out very carefully, again, fragile, and the bus bun is in here, and I will wash all of this. This should have now giving us more access to the motherboard. There's one more thing we need to take. We need to take out the cables. So in front of the computer, I'm repeating myself when I do stuff on this computer to what I did on the P233. It's the same thing. So we need to punch out this black thing that is around the LED in order for us to move this tiny piece out when I need to rush this. But I can start by saying that the green one cable is the second up here, and again green now goes to this way, and the yellow one is then the third, and again yellow goes that way. And the last one is the reset button. Oh, this is the power on button. It's yeah. Oh, sorry, I'll fix that. Went on the floor. So I'll move this out, which sits here, and white goes this way, black goes this way. So with all this out, we should be able to find the screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and take this out. Before that, we need to take out this, whatever this is. I think this is a VGA. So can we do this? I think so. Let's do this. Have a look at it. This, later on, this is an S3 Trident 64 V2DX. I don't know if this is better than what's on the computer, which seems also to be an S3. So we'll compare this afterwards. Now I can see the coin cell battery down there. So obviously nothing has leaked on the computer. Thank you. We need to figure out how to take this out. There must be a hinge somehow, or screw, or I think there's a screw down there, in there. Is there more? There's another screw over here. I'm not sure if we actually need to take these two screws off, because I think the Razer card just is screwed to this metal plate down there. We'll just take it off anyway, as we need to clean it. There we go. We'll have a look at this afterwards. There we go with the Razer card. Is the Olivetti number on it? I think IN2087. There we go. So 3 16-bit ISO slots and 3 PCI slots. I will assume that some of them cannot be combined together, so you cannot, most likely, not have a card in here at the same time as you have a card in here. And that should give us access, yes, just to take this off. There we go. The last one is something up there, which I think this is a COM port. So that needs to be taken out. Sits here, twirled a little bit around, and the red one goes this way over there. So now I will take out the screws and we'll take it from there. Six screws out. I found a number 7 down here. And I think I can just move the backwards. Yes. One piece of keyboard, sorry, one piece of motherboard. And all this needs to go and be washed. So everything has been cleaned, washed, scrubbed, and I have tried to fix stuff. So let me just go through this before we look at the actual computer. it's very broken all over the place, and I haven't glued it yet. I'll come back to why not just in a second. So all these items can go over here. One of the things that I'm concerned about is we fixed this. This goes here, but this one is also extremely broken. I haven't glued anything, but I can see somebody has tried to glue it. This is, yeah, going apart. This is going into pieces. So I will try to mount this back and have it working. The bottom of the casing, this plastic goes down there, and that's also broken everywhere. So I need to glue all of this also. So regarding all this gluing, I'm not gonna do this right now. I need to do this another day because this needs to be, yeah, it's difficult to glue stuff like this. So I'll figure out how to do this in a good way. With all of this over there, I wanna turn our attention to this unit. This unit is where the power supply is. There was a CD-ROM drive, an empty bay, and a floppy disk drive. And underneath, if I turn this very carefully, we have a Maxtor. I think this is a 2 GB hard disk that's here. Everything has been cleaned. I have taken everything out. The floppy disk drive has been cleaned. Serviced the hard disk. The CD-ROM drive. Also, sorry, it's not this one. Sorry, I'll come back to this. This is the CD-ROM drive. When I cleaned this, I noticed that the head is completely broken. I don't know what happened. This one was inside. This is the 3rd edition new Headway pre-intermediated Oxford University Press interactive practice CD-ROM. No idea what this is. If this is something video-wise or something, this will not work on this computer because you probably need some MPEG decoding in order for this to work. But it was in here. This is not working. So I'm skipping everything regarding this one. This is why I have found another CD-ROM drive. I just briefly want to talk about screws. I don't know, this is not, yes it is a screw, but this is not, this is for screwing something into wood or something like that. And this is the same. These different kinds of screws, 2, 4, 6 screws were in, and this unit requires 4, 8, and maybe 4, 2, at least 2, so that's 10, and this takes 4, so that's 14. So between 14 and 16 screws. All of this was held in with only these, so everything was floating around. Just want to briefly talk about the bay for shoving in stuff into this unit. It goes for the other units also. None of the screws, so the screws in here, the same like this. None of these 4 were in. When you push this in, you can then on the other side screw it to this bracket. So this goes like this, if I can manage to do it, and you just shove it in, and then it aligns, and then it works. So with that said, I will put in the rest of the 2 screws for this bay in here and for this bay in here. And I need flat screws, I need to dig them out. So that's that. And if I just briefly should move this one over here. And obviously the loudspeaker stuff is also clean, so that goes over here. So let me take the camera a little bit closer. Let's have a brief talk about the motherboard and this one. So let me rearrange the camera a bit. There's not much to say about the actual motherboard. Let me take out the Razer card. Like this, so we can get a better view. Remember this was in here, that's a graphics card. This one is an S3 Trident 64 V2/DX, and the chip is 86C77. These are 256, 50 nanoseconds, so fast RAM. And this is completely the same as there's on the board. So again, S3 Trio, or Trio, I think it's called 64V2DX, and it's also the same 86C775. The memory up here is also 256, 256. So I do not understand why this was in the computer. But when we test it, I'm not going to test with this. I'm just going to test to see whether or not this is working. This memory, I think this is 16 megabyte each. Yes, it is. It's it's PC133, 64 megabyte each of them, those two sticks. The chipset is VIA. It's over there, and obviously over there, and over there. I think we have some second level cache up here, and this is the Pentium. Let's take this out and investigate whether or not it is what we expect it to be. I think it's a Pentium. Let me get this out first. Sorry. There we go. I think it's a Pentium 233 megahertz. So let's just briefly have a look. It is Intel Pentium with MMX technology, and it's a 2.8 volt, and it's down there 233. So that's the one. It's all okay. I'll just plump it in again, and I'll hook it up once we put all the cables in. I need to turn this around like this. And it's all back. One thing I just want to mention, I cannot quite figure out what the name of the board is. So if anybody understands this board, we have something down here. RUISU3 maybe, 94V-0. I have no idea. Over here, there's also TGS 9370 revision D and another number. In here we have the Olivetti board number. So Olivetti calls this board BA23905. That's the board. I found a strange thing. If you can see, the board is missing a lot of stuff that's not populated. I do not know what it is or good for, because I cannot find any documentation for this board. So if anybody has any understanding of the board, can guide me to some documentation, then please do. I just noticed one thing down here. It says SCSI or SCSI LED. So does this come with built-in SCSI controller? I have no clue. And if it does, where is the connector for a SCSI drive? Where would that be? This is a little bit strange. So with that said, I think I'm ready to test the motherboard. I will just hook it up here on the table, and we will find some cables, LEDs and loudspeakers and stuff, and connect it down here, and I'll plug in the power supply. Just briefly, I forgot to say, I took out the power supply. I opened up the power supply. I must admit, I have never ever seen a clean and simple power supply as this one. This was like crazy amazing, but there we go. It's tested, and all the voltage rail gives me what I need, so I'm comfortable just hooking in the power supply directly to the board. So let me set this up. I have already a PS2 keyboard ready, PS2 mouse, and the VGA monitor. So let me come back to you once I hooked everything up, and we will see if this actually boots, and if we're lucky, maybe there's something on the hard disk. Probably not. It's probably broken. They usually are. So let me come back. So it's a little bit cramped in here, but I think I managed to take all the right cables to the right places and powers up here. So I'm comfortable just turning it on. So let me put some power to the unit. This power. This power supply doesn't turn on until the activation of the power button on the computer turns it on. So here, hard disk spinning, the fan spinning, and I'm hearing some beep sounds. I see some. Wow, that was quick. I didn't even notice. Hold on. Wow, what's going on? Windows 95. I think I saw something in Italian, most likely. So I think we have a success. We have a success, absolutely. Let me let this boot up. Yes, Italian all over the place. And I see some, I think it was a token ring from IBM network thingy. And I saw something like a terminal server thing. So what is going on with this computer on the hard disk? Is it something with a bank or something? Seems very simple, nothing much. Let's try the mouse. And the mouse is also working. Okay, so welcome to Windows 95. Holy wow. Client access AS400 IBM. So this computer has been used to connect to a IBM mainframe, the AS400 series, I will assume. Not going into much of all of this. This looks very, why isn't this hard disk deleted? There must be tons of company stuff. Hold on a second, let's try to see if we can see what the company's name is. Okay, something called IBP Banninger Italy SRL. I have no idea what that is, but that's the license for this computer. Seems everything is working. It does. I'm not going into this computer. I think we should quickly go to DOS and yeah, let's see what's in. Oh, there we go. Already in DOS. It's quick. So here's the CD-ROM driver, and if I go one time back, yeah, and if I do date, I haven't touched anything. It knows the date. What's going on? It's kind of like knows the time, not quite, but this is crazy. Okay, so I will not show you what's on the hard disk. I will investigate whether or not I think there is something important driver-wise on the hard disk. DOS, Windows, something, an emulator for 5250, some fonts. Nope, I don't see anything that screams that this is something I need to store, but I'll go through all of this. What about the CD-ROM drive? What about the CD-ROM? Can it see the D drive? I'm not sure. Maybe the CD-ROM is... oh yeah, there we go. Was just slow. Should we try start? I do not know what this is. Oh, sorry, I need to go on the CD-ROM drive. Now, so this is a Windows program. Okay, cool. I'm super happy with all of this. I still haven't figured out why they had this. Should we just try and plug this in and connect the monitor to it? It seems that whoever had this computer has ripped out the, most likely an IBM token ring card and maybe some other network cards utilities in order for this to be able to connect to a mainframe. So maybe somebody took stuff out and shoved other stuff in. I do not know. Let's try. Definitely not happy. So yeah, I expected this much. So why was this card in this computer? I have no idea. Cool. All in all, I'm super happy with the computer. Sadly, I need to glue stuff. So I will, and this will take a few days. I need to figure out how to fix all of this. And then I will hopefully come back with a computer that's kind of like looks pretty again. Give me a second. I'll figure this out. This Olivetti M24 will always be dearest to my heart. And if you have followed my YouTube channel, you certainly know that by now. It was my first PC. It feels a little bit strange that Olivetti decided eventually, like 10, 12 years after this one, to produce another M24. I haven't figured out why. I have been reaching out to people working for Olivetti and asking them, but nobody knows why. And the same thing obviously goes for this one. So they went from an Intel 8086 to a Pentium series. So they didn't do the 8286, 8386, 8486, but they went to this when they started a new M24. I don't know if there's any M24 between those. I have not heard of anybody. I've only heard of the one that I showed in the beginning, the P233, and then all of a sudden this popped up on eBay. And then I just needed to own it. So it was a little bit of a mess because it's cracked. I'll figure this out. I'll glue stuff together and I'll fix it. But as you can see, it's up and running. I want to stop here. I don't know what to do with this. I kind of like have no purpose because this one is the one I want to keep and preserve. So I just think this goes on storage and it will stay there. But if anybody has any good ideas for this, we could bring it back and we could play around with it. We could install sound cards, or we could install some network card in it, and we could build up a networks together with all of this. I'm not sure what to do with it. If you have any good suggestions, just write it down in the comments. Still don't know why this was in there. Really weird. And definitely I went through the hard disk. There is tons and tons and tons of private company related stuff in this computer. And there's a lot of software that you used when you had to connect to mainframes. So this obviously was just a dumb computer, and they did their accounting and other stuff connecting to an AS400 computer. That's the story of this. And I have the keys, and all in all, the only thing that broke while I touched it was a tiny, tiny piece. So yeah, kudos to me. I just want to thank you for watching this episode, and I hope to see you soon. Write me a comment if you like this one, and if you have some suggestions. Please give me a thumbs up, because you know this helps the algorithm on YouTube to promote my YouTube channel for all of you. I want to thank you, and let's see you